Hello there, crafters. Today's creations are a little bit fishy. That's because we are focusing on the story of Jonah. Now, of course, Jonah isn't just a fish tale. It's a story about how God gives us second chances. But, when we're being honest, fish crafts are awesome. So, that's what we're going to work on today. Now, our first one is going to be a little bit of a game as well. We are going to have a Jonah into the fish game made from a cup and some other fun decorative items. So, we're going to start out by making our cup into a fish. So, we're going to add some fishy elements here. I'm going to add a fish eye or two and a tail, and then we're going to make Jonah going into the whale. Now I said that because it rhymes. However, the Bible specifies not that it was necessarily a whale, a la, Moby Dick or Monstro or something, but it just says great fish. So we don't really know exactly what kind of fish it was, but it had to be big because Jonah was in there for 3 days. Anyways, I'm going to make my whale eyes out of paper, but you could also use googly eyes or something like that. So here's my big old whale eyes, and I'm going to attach them to my cup with some glue or some tape or something. And then I'm going to add some teeth. Did this whale have teeth necessarily? We're not sure, but it's fun. And I'm going to, so here's my whale, or fish rather, sorry, fish, not necessarily a whale, it's a fish. So here's his eyeballs. We've got an eyeball on each side. I mean, maybe it was a giant squid, I don't know. That would actually be pretty cool, except that you couldn't really swallow somebody, but it would be fun. I'm going to make a tail here. And I'm going to, let's see here. Here is my tail. Which I'll attach onto the sides here, like this. There's my little fishy tail. And then we're going to get my Jonah going. So again, you can use glue or tape. I think tape might work a little better for my tail purposes here. Got glue for my eyeballs. We're just having fun with this. So there's my fish. That does kind of look squid-like, actually. I'm just going to cut down his tail a little bit. That's just a little too long. And give him some nice teeth that can wrap around there. And then we'll add a little verse caption so we know why we have this random whale. And again, it's a story that we often remember for that fish element, but the important thing that we're looking at is how God gives us second chances. So here's his little teeth. I'm just going to wrap those around the cup, whether or not this fish had teeth. It's just fun. And there we go. And maybe we even have a tongue. And actually my tongue is going to double as my verse caption. So I'm going to cut a very long tail, a tongue, sorry. And we're going to write as best you can. We're going to write God gives second chances. Here's my verse, or my chapter rather, Jonah chapter 3. There we go. And I'm going to stick that in here. Now, in order to create the fun game element, we're going to, here's my fish with his tail and his eyes and his tongue. But now we're going to add something to it. I'm going to use a piece of yarn, and I'm going to, if you have like a foam cup or something that is a little bit easier to cut into, you could use a hole punch and punch a hole in here, but it doesn't work as well with plastic. So I'm going to tape this string down. You can put it in the bottom or on the side of the cup. And then I'm going to attach it to my Jonah. Now I happen to have a little wooden person kind of a thing, which I'm going to draw on. You could get creative and use fabric or something as well. I'm just going to draw a little face on him. And I'm not going to make him smiling because I don't think he was smiling when he went into that fish. So I'm going to give him a little beard, a little hair, maybe some hands. But yeah, if you wanted to get more creative, you could do fabric or something, or less creative, you could just use a piece of paper, and this would work fine as well. But we're going to give him, going to do that kind of Jonah. Then, this might be a bit too long. I'm going to cut it slightly. We are going to attach Jonah to the string. Now, it does look kind of like I'm hanging him. Really, I'm not. It's just for the purposes of making this into our fun little craftivity. So, you'll see how this turns into the game element. So, here's my Jonah. Here's my fish. Now, you can just act it out and go, here comes the fishy, here comes Jonah. Whoa! He's going to the fish. Or, if you wanted to make it into the game, the idea is that you're trying to get Jonah into the cup. So, you toss the cup up, and you try to catch Jonah in the fish. So, it's kind of fun. It's a little more challenging than you would think, but fun little way to make this interactive. Now, craft number 2 also involves Jonah, of course. So, I'm going to actually make my Jonah first, and then we'll create my fish for him to go into. So, you could put Jonah on some kind of popsicle stick if you want, or you can just create him on paper. Actually, let's use the white paper again. So we're going to do a rather simple version of Jonah so that it doesn't take forever, but feel free to get real creative with Jonah. Here's my Jonah. Again, not very creative. And that's only because we're not going to be here forever. So here's my Jonah. And he's kind of flying into this fish. Definitely not very proportional, but you get the idea. So here comes Jonah. And we're going to, just to clarify any misconceptions, we'll even put his name here. Jonah. There we go. There's Jonah. And now we're going to make the whale. So, I'm going to use 2 paper plates for this. You don't have to do 2. You can just do 1, but I'll show you why 2 is kind of a neat way to do it. So, I'm going to cut out of these paper plates a big triangle. And of course, if you're only doing 1, you would cut 1 triangle. But I'm going to cut that triangle out of both paper plates. Now, this opening here is going to become my mouth. The triangles are going to attach to the back of my paper plate and become my tail. So now I'm going to decorate. Now, because I have 2, I'm going to decorate one side as my fish, and I'm going to decorate the other side with a caption. He's kind of a mean looking fish. He doesn't have to be, but I just think that's kind of fun. So I'm going to give him some scales just because it's kind of like a giant goldfish. I mean, that would be terrifying. Think about it. Getting swallowed by a giant goldfish? Wow. But if you want to, you could even add some teeth here. It's kind of a scary looking fish. But, and then, color him in a little. Of course, make this as creative and cool and fun as you care to. This is the speed version. Now, again, on my other plate, you could do this as a fish as well, or you could write your captions. Jonah was, now I'm going to make this kind of cute. I'm going to say swallowed, and then I'm going to cross it out and write saved by a fish. And then we'll put God saves us with Jesus, or through Jesus, maybe would be better. But anyways, you get the idea. Jonah chapter, actually 1 to 3 is really where the whole story is taking place. And we'll do one more heading here. God gives second chances. Yay! So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to staple this all together. Now, if you just want to make it one-sided again, you could just have this be your fish who swallows Jonah. But we're going to staple this together, and we're going to staple that tail into the fish. And if you've got like 20 preschoolers you're working with, it's going to be a lot of staples, just warning you. But it's fun. It's great. It's Jonah. So here we go. Just going to staple it around a couple of times. You could also use glue or tape, but staples are going to be your fastest and really your most effective way of getting this fish together. So now, when you tell the story, here is your fish. Here's your Jonah. Whoa! I'm sinking down! Gulp! And he goes right into the fish. That's what's fun about having the double-sided plate thing, is you really can get him into the fish. And it's fun, and it's cool, and it's awesome. So, there you have your giant Jonah eating fish, which you can even reverse and act out the next part of the story where he gets, Jonah, where'd you go? Spit up by the whale. There we go. So that's craft number 2. Craft number 1 was our cool interactive fish game with Jonah into the fish. So 2 fishy crafts for the story of Jonah. Hopefully they inspire you. There are many others. Fish are a great craftable thing. So have fun, enjoy, make it creative and accessible to your audience, wherever and with whomever that might be. So go make those crafts, make some disciples. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.